Hey everyone! So, we are chatting today with Mary about business mindset and all the things. So, I'm just gonna invite her quickly. Hi!
Hi. Oh, hold on. I can't hear you yet.
Oh no! I'm gonna
Let
start.
me.
Is that working better?
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
So good, how are you? I just had to swap internet because, I don't know, the internet's doing its thing.
It's okay. My internet's always out of whack, so I'm like, sorry.
Good, how have you been?
I've been good. I was just remembering. I'm like, well, because we worked together last year, right? And I'm like, that was such a fun summer.
Oh, I had so
Like, I remember we're in the middle of the pandemic, but I was not struggling.
much of it.
I remember we used to be like, hey, so we're like thriving.
100%. Like everyone else is having not a great time, and we're like, oh, we're just at home building our businesses, living our lives.
Yeah, like business is good, life is good, I'm manifesting things, I'm healing things.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
And I think especially now, so many people see that and they're like, I want to run an online business now. And you're like, yeah, it's really good. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly. I think a lot of people are transitioning into becoming entrepreneurs, and I'm like, yes, do it, share your magic.
100%. So do you want to first start by telling everyone a little bit about like who you are and what you do?
Yeah, of course. So, hi everyone. I am Mary Alvazuris. I love empowering soulful entrepreneurs to share their magic with the world through soul aligned branding and website design. I'm all about supporting people to share their magic, get their message out there, to heal the world. I'm like, yes, I'm here for all of that.
Percent. And I know it was a little while ago, but do you want to sort of take me back to what your life and business was like before we did 90 Day Alignment Accelerator?
Yeah, so before meeting Kim, life was okay. No, I mean, yeah, okay, so how about, okay, I'm like, where do I start? We healed a lot and we improved a lot of areas of my life. So the money thing, that was huge for me. I'm like, I've bought into every money program there is out there. And nothing worked the way doing RTT worked for me. That was just like, everything finally made sense. I was like, oh, well, duh. It's my childhood stuff that's holding me back. Um, so, yeah, we healed that. And let's see what else. Oh my God, we worked on so many things. It was such a good summer, like I said. But yeah, those so many things improved. Like, things were good, but they weren't great. And I was always feeling like I was missing something. That's why I kept buying into like all these different programs, even though it's like I didn't need to learn another strategy. What I really needed to do was like go deep in and just heal, like my subconscious and reprogram things. That's basically what RTT is. And the best part about it was that it literally happens like that.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure this stuff out for years. Like I've been in business for a while, and let me tell you, it was hard. And then working with Kim, it was just like things were easy, and they everything clicked. And I mean, you talk about this all the time, so I'm sure people already know, but it's just like, yeah, like that whole feeling of like not feeling enough or feeling like something was missing or like maybe I was made different. So maybe I'm actually not supposed to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, that's all BS. I am supposed to be an entrepreneur. And yeah, I mean, you helped me heal all of that and just kind of, yeah, just switch everything around. And even though we're not working together anymore, but it's like I still have the recordings of like when I fall off the tracks. I'm like, okay, time for hypnosis.
that. Yeah, it's so true. Because I think before I used to always say a belief is like a thought that you think over and over again. But I think now I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, a belief is something you don't even think about and you just accept it as a fact. And
Exactly.
and it totally ends up running the show and controlling like how much you can do in your business because you're like, oh well, I think this is true. Or you don't even think that it's true. You just accept it as being the way it is. And then determines how everything goes in your business. And I'm like, this is the missing piece where I'm like, guys, I just wish everyone knew this one thing because when you shift that, everything else changes.
Exactly, exactly. Like it's really magical. Like everyone's always looking for, the solution or like the magical strategy or the 10 steps or whatever. Honestly, RTT is the answer. I didn't, not to say I didn't buy into any programs after that, but like not really. I mean, I work with coaches because I love being supported, but I didn't have to buy into anything else because everything finally clicked. And yeah, my income changed in my business, like grew tremendously, and it's been so amazing. Like Kim and I were saying, we were thriving in the pandemic. And yeah, I mean, what else changed? So many of the good things came out of it. I mean, just like my whole life changed, honestly. I don't even want to go back and remember who I was.
Like who you were before. Like your biggest goals and motivations like before we started working together?
I mean, for months, or not even for months, for years, I was so hard on myself of like making a certain income goal. Like hit that goal, hit that goal. And I remember I did it like once or twice, and then I was like, and then it was just felt impossible again. But then working together, I was able to do it, and that's kind of just been my normal. And I don't even stress about money anymore because I've been really good at manifesting it. And yeah, just the whole transformation, just I have a whole different mindset around it because before it was just such like coming from this place of lack, this place of like try to be like everyone else because well they're making X amount, so I need to be making X amount, or else like I'm not worthy or I'm not successful or this or that, and that's all baloney.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I'm really really glad we worked on.
Like I feel like so many entrepreneurs were like, oh, that person's doing this well, so I need to do it like that. Or like this person seems to have the strategy, so I'm gonna follow that strategy. And then like we get frustrated because we're not being ourselves or it doesn't work the same for us. And it's like the missing thing is you have to be yourself.
Exactly. And like, okay, aside from like RTT, you gave me so many little insights on my life that totally improved. Like, okay, I live in Austin now because you taught me astrocartography. And that was the best move I ever made. What else? I mean, like, okay, yeah, you're gonna sign up for RTT and get that, but don't be surprised if Kim just gives you like other little things because you gave me so many like little random things because we spend so much time together, and
Yeah.
I just love you for it.
It's like I feel like I almost never talk about that before when I'm like talking about 90-day alignment accelerator, but because it is one-to-one, it's like, well, I can like go so deep into like what does that person need, and it's like we can bring like their human design into it or like
Exactly. We talked. Oh, that's what it was. It was like you told me that. We like you're like, what's your little arrow pointing? And I'm like that way, and you're like, oh, then you're this, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know. So don't be surprised if you up level just your life in all kinds of ways.
just always like the I think like the biggest thing that those tools give you at the end of the day is the permission to be yourself and like lean into your strengths and like understand your values and yourself, because at the end of the day like that's what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur. Like I think I forget who says this quote, but it's like know thyself, and when you know yourself you're just so much more effective at running a business because you're like, this is me, I can stay in my lane, I don't need to do what the other people are doing.
Exactly. No, seriously. I mean, after that, I took like a huge dive into human design, and it's just like been so amazing. But I mean, that and just like rewiring or, I don't know what the word is, but just like all those like things that, we've been holding in our like brains of like, oh, I'm not able to do that, or I'm not capable of doing that, or that's not for me, or blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, just throw it out the window and you're gonna have like you can have that life that you want. And yeah, it's amazing.
And how did you find 90 Day Alignment Accelerator?
Um, oh, because I was on your podcast.
Way back.
Yes, I was like, okay, well, you and I were both in Chakra Girl Business School, and then I was on your podcast, and then I was like, wait, oh my God, this girl's like speaking to me, and then obviously like I loved you, and then I was like, okay, screw it, I've tried everything. It's the last thing. I mean, it wasn't the last thing. Actually, honestly, like I said, I haven't done another program since. I've just been like supported with coaches to like talk things out that like happen throughout life. But yeah, that was kind of like the thing. That was it. I didn't have to go learn a new strategy or like learn how to market myself or learn how to get Instagram followers or like learn how to build a list. Like, no, none of that. All I had to do is like fix what was going on inside my head, deep down inside my head. Yeah, that was it. So, I mean, if you're in a place where you're like, oh my God, like I'm the one that buys all the programs, I was too. Yeah, don't just get this one.
And you'll be good forever.
Exactly.
What did you feel like were your big takeaways from 90 Day Alignment Accelerator?
My biggest takeaways were that honestly, I can have the life that I want, and I can have what I want. And it doesn't have to be hard either. Oh my God, stopping the hustle. That was huge for me. I'm trying to think back of all the things that we went through. And yeah, things, oh my God, like there's so many things. I should have written a list before I got it on this. But one of the things I remember, I always felt like I had to be like attached to my computer. If I was not working, then I was not going to make any money. That was baloney. And Kim and I worked on it. And now it's like the more fun I have, the more money I make. That's like, I used to say that, but then I didn't believe it. But then now I believe it and it actually happens.
Love that so much because I think so many people we get trapped into this way of thinking because when you work for someone else, like it is true, like the more hours you work, the more money you make. But when you're an entrepreneur, that's not true anymore. It's like you have to throw that completely out the window, and it takes a moment for your mind to get on board. Like, what do you mean? Like I'm not trading time for dollars? And you're like, yeah, it's not like that. So you need to get your mind on board with it so it doesn't keep you thinking that you have to be working constantly because then you just get burnt out.
Yeah, exactly. So giving myself permission to like take a break or not even just take a break, but take it easy on myself. Because like I was just attached to my computer and just putting all this extra pressure on myself that was like so not necessary. And yeah, ever since working together, just like I'm still really successful, more successful than I have been in the past. And I'm doing less. And I know like people like hear that, and you're like, but how? Oh, because that person is special or she has that and I don't have that. No, that's all like a whole bunch of baloney too. It's like, honestly, we all have the ability to do anything we want in the way that we want. It's just about reprogramming the way we think about it. Yeah. Which RTT helps.
100%. And I think that's the thing that people need to realize is like the fact that you want something, it means that you're meant to have it. Because it's like, I don't have the desire to, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of an example. I'm like, I don't have the desire to be the president of the United States. So it's like, that's obviously not meant for me. But like, I do have a desire to run a business in like a really flowing, abundant way that doesn't require me working all the time. And because I want that, it means that I'm able to have it. The only thing that has to change is like what I think is possible for me.
Exactly. Like, I remember I used to make vision boards and I mean, like 50% came of it true. Working with Kim, 100% came true, and I just had to keep switching my vision board. But that's because we worked on that. I remember there, like in one of our sessions, like, my vision board was just gonna come true, and it did.
Yeah, I remember like it was like after the first month and you were like, well, I have everything now. So
Yeah, exactly. Like things that were like on my wish list forever that I was like, one day, like, if I win the lottery type of thing. Like, so it's really silly. But yeah, that's how it was. And then working together, like, it just came true. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? So yeah, I just, not only did I become like better at manifesting, but it's just believing that it's all like that it's all possible for me and that like I'm worthy of having it, because that was like a huge thing, like the worthiness piece. Like I want that, but like something feels off because things were off. But you know, working together, it's like you can have everything that you want and it's totally possible in the way that you want it.
yeah, 100%. And after we finished working together, like what happened next? Or like what did you go out and do after that?
I mean, I've just been I took a deeper dive into human design because that was amazing. And you're the one that introduced me to it. I've just been having fun and traveling. I moved, like I said, Kim like sprinkled this little like magic on me, and then I was like, ooh, let me look into that. And then now I live in Austin, Texas. I was living in California before. That was amazing. I mean, so many things improved in my life. We didn't just work on business. I remember there was, I think before we worked on the business stuff, we actually did like a personal, like more
Oh,
like
did
personal session. Yeah, that was huge for me, even just like helping my relationship, and shifting things in that. So, I mean, honestly, I've just kind of been like more on a spiritual kick. I went from like, you know, trying to learn every business thing that was out there and trying to figure out how to like not make $1 million, but like make a living in my business, because my business was like this for a lot of years, and now it's just like, you know. And but then after working together, since like I didn't feel like I needed the business stuff anymore, honestly, I just like took a deeper dive into spirituality. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
yeah, like it just like when you stop being in that scarcity survival mode, it frees you up to go and pursue the things that you want to do, which is like ultimately why we want businesses, is like we want that freedom, we want the impact that we want, and we also want to go do the rest of the stuff that we want to do without being chained to a desk.
Exactly. And like, well, we were in a pandemic, so I couldn't travel, but I've been traveling since like March, here, there, and actually since like the holidays, if I really think about it. But I mean, if the borders weren't closed internationally, I probably would have been traveling internationally.
Fingers crossed soon.
Yes. Like, world, let's just get together. Let's, you know, let's get better.
100%. And like, how do you feel now? Like, what are the things you kind of find yourself saying to yourself most days?
Life is really, really good. And I mean it. You know, like when you ask someone like, oh, how are you? And they're like, I'm good. Like
Mm.
now I'm like, no, life's like really good.
Yeah.
And like I really mean it. Like there's so much to celebrate. And yeah, I've had my moments where I've like I said, I've had like my off moments, but then like immediately I just go back into a space of like, wait, but holy moly, you've done so much in the past few months. Like life is so, so good. And like all the things that I used to struggle with, it's like I don't struggle with anymore because, you know, we worked on that.
Yes, I love that so much. And like, what does it make you feel like is possible for you now that wasn't possible before?
Anything. Honestly, like I just like all I have to do is put on my vision board. um yeah, I mean, growing my business is possible, and like not, you know, in a not struggle way, because it was a struggle. It was, yeah, struggle.com for a long time. um yeah, I mean, honestly, anything's possible. It's just about doing the work. And you know, coming to that realization on your own, and then after that it's just, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And I mean it. I don't just say it to like say it how some people do. Like I mean it.
100%. I think that's the amazing thing about, like, especially with the process of RTT, because you realize that you're the one who created the meaning out of that event. And you're like, oh, well, I can just change what the meaning is for me. I don't have to keep that idea that I created at like 6 years old or whatever it was.
Exactly. Like, we hold on to these things that we grabbed as a kid that we didn't know if they were right or wrong, but they kind of shape our future because we're just attached to those thoughts or beliefs. And you can just like kind of erase them or heal them or rewire them, whatever word you want to use, but it's totally possible. So the things that are like holding you back, like they don't have to actually. So honestly, anything's possible.
True that. And if you could give yourself any advice before we work together, like what advice would you give yourself?
Look for RTT sooner. That and like not being afraid of investing in myself. Which I mean, I've never really had a problem with that, but there was moments where, like I said, I I did a lot of programs and courses, and some of them didn't work out for me. But because that, it wasn't because of the person that did the course. It just there's things going on. But yeah, I think it would just be about doing the deeper healing versus buying into another strategy. It's like I honestly don't need another strategy. I just needed to work on myself, and that's been life changing. So that and RTT. I mean, do RTT and invest in myself. Like, not being afraid of, you know, buying into the program. Like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's like when you're gonna make an investment, you're kind of like, do I not? Like maybe I'll figure out another way to do this, like maybe for cheaper. And then no, honestly, just do it. The money's gonna come back so much more. And yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of the things. I mean, I guess you could argue that for every program, if you do the work, like you eventually do make back your investment. But like with RTT, everyone I speak to, like money just comes at them randomly after we like do the work. And it's not even just the money mindset work. It's like even like the self-worth part, I feel like changes money for people so much, because when you change how capable you feel of receiving, then like money's just responding to that energy. And then when you change that, it just starts flowing.
I remember after every session, like I'd have such a good money day. I'd be like, oh, so I got like 5 invoices paid today. And I didn't even like send out reminders. It was really cool. Yeah, money's gonna come back to you. Man, there's something else I was gonna say and I forgot. Oh man.
Amazing. So if anyone watching is curious about 90-Day Alignment Accelerator, they can hop on the wait list, and the link is in my bio, or it's bit.ly/alignment accelerator. And you should totally go and give Mary a follow because she's super inspiring and the work she does is amazing. Did you have
you. I'm so glad that you are a part of my life still. I mean, I owe you so much. I cannot wait till the borders open so we can see each other in real life. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if you resonate with my story at all, like wanting to grow your business or wanting to do something in your life and like you feel like something's holding you back, it could be your beliefs. And that's something you can fix in art with RTT. And honestly, 90 days will go like that. And it's actually like perfect time because it's the summer. And you're just gonna have like the best summer ever. And then also we're coming like slowly coming out of a pandemic, right? Like the world's like shifting. So it's like the perfect time to do that.
It literally is. Like I know some places are still in a lockdown and like some places are not, but if you're at home and you have nothing else to do, it's the perfect time to do the self-work, because like what else are you gonna do? So
I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so you know how I think you said it, like doing the work, right? So doing the work when in your program is honestly not hard. 1, show up to your session, and then 2, just listen to the hypnosis for 21 days after. That is not hard at all. You don't have to sit there and like ponder on life for hours. You don't even have to print anything. Well, actually, you like, I remember you share some stuff with us, right? Yeah. She's like, Kim will share some really cool tools with you. Like I thought they were really cool. But honestly, it's not hard work. It's not like it requires like hours to do. It's honestly like it's really easy. And it's so transformative. Like I hope you believe me.
So important for me to create a program where I was like, I want to give a lot of value, but I also don't want it difficult for people. Like, because I know sometimes it's so easy. You get into a program and you're like, oh my God, there's like 500 modules, 30 hours of video. Like, and I was like, I understand that sometimes that's needed, but I also don't want my program to be like that. Like, I want people to do the work, get the tools, use them, and like it's the daily practice of embodying it. That's what will change your life. It's not like sitting there watching 10 hours of video of me talking, because like nobody needs that.
Exactly. It's like honestly the easiest transformation work you'll ever do because you literally show up to the session. Kim works for magic, and then you come out of it, you're like, oh my God, that was so amazing. And then you just keep up with the hypnosis. And then obviously you can use the other tools, but they weren't even hard. I remember like your videos were I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes, under 10 minutes for sure. It never felt something like, oh, I have to do that thing. Because sometimes programs like they can do that, like where you have to spend hours, but this is like really low maintenance.
Like, because like I'm a projectors just love like a system, a strategy. If we can make something shorter, we want it to be shorter because we just like to rest. So it's
exactly
people where I'm like, look, you can do it. It doesn't need to take you all day. You can just do a little bit and you're going to get the results. And that's so important to me.
Totally. And then like once you start seeing the results, you're just going to be on a high and it's going to be amazing. And then the high doesn't really end because your whole life is transformed and you're never going to go back to your old self because like I don't want to go back to my old self. I don't even know who that person is.
Yeah, totally. I think it's like one of the nice things is that like the results keep compounding even after we finish working together. And like you said, you can go back and listen to your recordings, like you always have them. So it's always there for you.
Totally. Yes, it's amazing. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for hopping on today. It was so nice.
Yes, it was so great meeting you all. And I hope I mean, if this is what you need or this is what you've been looking for, like do it. Just do it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I go, but I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. All right. Bye.